And today I'm going to go over our first lesson, which is Big Gulp Guppy. So you're going to want to find your Big Gulp Guppy kit. And in this kit, we have two activities we're going to be doing with you this morning. Our first is we're going to learn about how fish breathe. For this activity, you're going to need the following ingredients. You're going to need a jar of some type. You're going to need a container with water. Not a lot, but you're going to want to make sure you have enough. You're going to need a coffee filter, rubber band. I have two in case something happens and one breaks, but you really only need one. And in your kit, you should also have a tea bag. We're going to use that, so you're going to want to take the tea bag out. And for this activity, you're also going to need a pair of scissors and a spoon. We're going to start this morning by taking our coffee filter and placing it over the top of our jar and securing it with the rubber band. Before you secure the rubber band, however, you want to push your coffee filter down just slightly so it creates kind of a reservoir, so all your water isn't going to pour out the top of. Come on, it's not cooperating with me this morning. This sometimes happens. Science can be messy. So you'll see I now have a little reservoir in the top of my filter on my jar. Next, I'm going to take the water and I'm going to take my tea bag. Now, we want to get the tea that's inside the tea bag. So what we're actually going to do today is we're going to cut the top off the tea bag. Be careful, you don't want to pour the tea all over the table, but you're going to actually pour that into your water. And you want it to make a mess. That's okay, that's kind of the plan. Stir it around a little bit. Now, you'll see that the tea inside the water simulates oxygen. In real water, we can't see oxygen, but this is how oxygen would work for the purpose of this. So we have our water, our tea floating in our water is our oxygen. This simulates our fish. The paper over the top of the jar is actually the gills of the fish. And this is how fish are able to breathe underwater. You will see, we're going to slowly, you don't want to pour too quickly or else it's going to come flying over the top. But you're going to pour slowly into your jar, letting the water seep through the filter. We're going to let our water go down slightly. And you see the water is going into the jar. We're going to add a little bit more. And let it go down. And you will now see that the water is in the bottom of the jar. But once the jar has finished, you can see floating on the top is our tea. This simulates the oxygen, and this is how a fish breathes. Oxygen goes through its gills while underwater and gets stuck in the gills, filtered into the fish while the water then goes out. This is how a fish is able to breathe underwater without drowning, unlike you and I, who don't have the apparatus to be able to filter water because we don't have gills. And so we cannot filter. But this is how you do it. Welcome back. Now that you've had a chance to learn how fish breathe underwater, we're going to actually make our own fish. We're going to make a Big Gulp Guppy. In your kit, you should have some materials that you did not use for your first activity. And those should be a full-size piece of construction paper, a half-size piece of construction paper, and a smaller white paper. We're going to start with the large piece, and we're going to use this to build the body of our guppy. You're going to start by folding the paper so the edges line up. This can be a little complicated, so you might need an adult's assistance for this part if you're younger. And you will see when I do that, I have some paper that does not fit in my fold. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off right now. So that when I am all done, I should now have a square instead of a rectangle. I am now going to take my square and I'm going to hold it diagonally with my crease going down the center of the table. I'm going to take the right side and I'm going to fold that to that crease in the center and push that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, folding to that crease. Be careful, sometimes the construction paper wants to rip at the corners, like mine's doing right now, so just do that part carefully. Now, if you were to fold that, you'll see you should have a shape something like this, and it should look like this folded on the inside. You're now going to take that and open it back up. On that center crease side, we're going to cut a bunch of little cuts. Now, keep in mind, you only want to cut to the line where you folded before, okay? And you're going to want to go kind of in the middle. So you're going to start a couple inches in, and about every 3/4 to an inch, just put in another cut. So it'll look something like this. And this is going to help our guppy move. Okay. So now you'll see I got a bunch of cuts in my paper. Now I'm going to fold again on one side, and I'm going to take my glue. You'll need a glue stick for this activity. If you don't have one already, now's a good time to go get one. And you're going to run glue over 1/2 of your side, like that. Then you're going to take the other one and you're going to fold it over so that your two pieces now meet. And your guppy is now 3-dimensional. And you'll see with my little cuts, he can move around. Okay? So just get there, do this a couple of times, just make sure the glue's on there really well. Okay. So now I've got that. I'm going to take a little bit of my extra that I had, and I'm going to insert it into his mouth. And what you want to do is just take it and make a circle, kind of a little bit of a circle like that. And you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut that out so that it looks something like this. I'm going to put a little glue on the end. And you're going to insert that in his mouth. Okay? Then you're going to do the same thing on the top. So the top and the bottom should now kind of match. So now he has a mouth. He's got a big mouth. That's why we call him the big Gulp Guppy. Now we're going to take our second piece of paper, our half piece, and we're going to fold the section kind of like this. Okay? We're going to take our pencil and we're going to make 2 half hearts on our paper. So should look something like this. We're going to take our we're going to take our scissors. We're going to cut both of those out. Doesn't have to be super fancy. You just want that shape. And these are going to make our fish's fins. His side fins and his tail fin. Okay. One of our hearts you're going to leave whole as a heart. The other one you're going to cut in half along where you had the fold. So then you should have 2 half pieces. You're going to take a little glue on each of those. And these are going to go on the bottom of your fish. So you're going to have one on one side, one on the other, about halfway down the body. And then your full heart in the back, you're going to put a little glue on the tip of it. And that's going to go under your fish's tail. Push that down a little bit. So now you're fit. Now he's starting to look like a fish. few more things we need to do. We're going to give them a little bit of a mouth. So we're going to take our paper, we're going to cut another strip, and we're going to cut again. So it's going to look something like this. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put some tape, some glue on the underside of that, and we're going to glue that inside his mouth. And that's going to become our fish's tongue. Finally, we're going to take our small white piece of paper. We're going to make 2 circles, approximately the same size. Okay? Then you're going to take your marker, and inside your circle, you're going to do another smaller circle. Color that in. We have our eyes. We're going to cut our circles out. Again, you may need some assistance from an adult to do the cutting. If so, please feel free to reach out to a parent or an adult that might be with you during the program and ask them to help you out a little bit. It's okay to ask for help. Sometimes I need help too. Especially when cutting out eyes. We're going to take our glue, put a little bit on the back of our eye. Oops. We're going to stick that here. Do the same thing with our other eye. That on this side. And congratulations, we have made our big Gulp Guppy. Please enjoy and learn more about our fish and our explorers of the deep. We also have several books to go along with this week's lesson, which you can find links on our websites to check them all out. Have fun, and we'll see you next time.